Welcome back. It's Robert with It's Time to Be. And some of you probably clicked through to this video because you saw it was a coming out video. And then some of you are probably thinking, isn't 42 a little late to be doing a coming out video? I came out to myself and to family and friends 20 plus years ago. But I think my story coming from a small little town in Kansas is probably similar to a lot of people who don't live in big cities. So not knowing what gay was and not knowing how it may or may not fit into my life kind of led to a different story that I thought I'd share with you guys today. So the interview you're about to see is actually with someone who was, his name is Paul, was a big catalyst in my coming out. And so we kind of recount the story. I don't think he had ever heard the story before our interview the other day. So you'll get to kind of see his reaction as he was a big part of my coming out. So a big thanks to Paul for being part of this project, and I hope you enjoy the story. For those of you that don't know, this is Paul, my friend Paul, from back in Kansas. We met many, many years ago. But so let me tell you a little bit about my coming out story and how it works. And Paul's going to interject if he has anything to say that's different. And you'll find out here in just a few seconds how he comes to play with all this and why I've invited him here today. So basically, I was back in school. I was working 3 jobs most of the time when I was in school. And we were coming down to the end. It was time for graduation. And Paul was actually the president, I believe, of the gay organization there on campus.
Yeah.
And the way that I kind of remember it all starting was, I think we had picked a Wednesday, or your group had picked a Wednesday and said if you were in support of the LGBT community, you should wear blue jeans on Wednesday or something of that nature.
Yeah, that was a controversial thing. Blue jeans.
It was very controversial, and it was a big thing in the paper, and students were up in arms. And as I was teaching a class on sociology that semester, I thought it would be kind of a good opportunity for me to bring in some LGBT students and have them talk to the group about why this wasn't, such a big bad thing. So I think I contacted the group and said, hey, could you send some people over to one of my classes and we'll see how it goes. And lo and behold, that day came. I had my students in the room. They weren't exactly sure what to expect. Actually, I didn't really know what to expect either. And your team walked in the room. And I don't know what I was expecting exactly when you guys walked in, but I remember thinking, that wasn't it. I don't know what. I don't know if I was expecting some beautiful supermodels or some lipstick lesbians, or I don't know what I was expecting, but I was like,
random
okay,
college students.
we'll make this happen. So we started the class, and basically I eventually just opened it up for questions, and everybody had the opportunity to talk. And I don't remember what the question was. I don't even remember what your answer was, but I remember it just seeming so incredibly elegant.
So that was me?
Yeah, it was you. It was definitely you. And in that moment, I was like, damn, okay, this guy's got it going on. He kind of knows what he's talking about. And I was really impressed. And the class went on, and I remember one student in particular, as things tend to happen in these situations, was talking about a friend. And he was talking about a friend that was worried about this or that and coming out and having all kinds of issues, and just kind of went on and on about his friend. And you answered every question top to bottom. And that was that. Class was over. Everybody left. There was no big, huge controversy, really. Nobody got up and walked out that particular time.
I don't remember anybody getting really mad.
Yeah, some of my other classes, people walked out, but not that particular class.
Yeah.
And I went back to have office hours and didn't think anything of it. And then a couple days later, you contacted me back and you said, oh, I think I need to talk to that kid about whether or not it was his friend or wasn't his friend or whatever. So I wasn't exactly sure. Did you actually contact me because of that friend, or were you contacting for any other reason?
It was mostly for that friend, but the fact that it was you I thought of contacting was helpful.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So I think you invited me to coffee, or you were like, well, you should go out and talk about this.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I talked to my student, and then I'd get back to you, and we would go out. I didn't realize that you had kind of just asked me out on my first date. Because to be honest, I was completely clueless. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was like,
Uh-huh.
okay, fine. And so we went out to coffee and we talked. I don't know. We talked for quite a while.
Yeah, that was a long time.
Yeah. And I think you pushed me on a couple of things, but again, I was
Oh,
like,
I
I
do.
don't
I push
even know.
people.
Yeah. I was like, I don't even know where you're going with this line of questioning. That I'm not gay. That's not me. It's not part of who I want to be.
Right.
And you were like, okay, that's cool. Everything's fine. And then you invited me to a movie the next night.
That's correct. I don't remember what movie it was though.
Oh, I remember the movie.
What was the movie?
It was Swingers, which is like the straightest movie on the planet. But you were very clever because you were like, oh, because the theater was closing. It was an old theater.
Right.
And it was like the last time they were going to have a movie there. And you were like, yeah, we should go see that movie. Yeah. Not realizing again that basically you had asked me out on a date for the second time. Yeah, so we went to that movie, and I had kind of told people in my office that we were going to go see a movie, and they were like, oh, you think it's a date? And I was like, no. I'm like, we talked about that. Everything's cool. I don't think it's a date. And they were like, oh, yeah, we think it's a date. And so I was a little nervous about it. I was like, oh, my God, I'm going out on a date with a gay guy.
And so you weren't even out to yourself at this time?
No,
Okay.
honestly, I didn't even think about it. I mean, I had been so busy working, honestly, and in high school, I had always dated girls, and it was fine. And
Right.
I never really got what everybody was so excited about. I was like,
Right.
making out with
That's the first sign.
making out with girls is fun and whatever, but it's kind of I don't know why we all have to think about it 24 hours a day.
Right.
So yeah. We went to the movie, and I was cool with the movie. I remember, though, back then, when you went to the movie with another guy, you left a seat in between the two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
See.
the phantom seat, and you sat down right next to me.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, this must be what gay guys do. I guess that's cool to not have the phantom seat. So we sat next to each other, and I'm sure it was like summer, or it was getting close to summer as school was over, so we were both wearing shorts, and your knee touched mine, and that's when I freaked the hell out. Because I so didn't want to make you feel bad. I was like...
that was probably an accident.
It was probably an accident? Okay, we'll go with probably an accident. You want to say probably an accident. Anyway, your knee touched mine, and I didn't know what to do. I remember not paying attention to that damn movie whatsoever. I think it was like a 9-hour trilogy we watched that night. But yeah, Swinger was over. And so what was going through your mind? I mean, were you even thinking, like, this kid needs to come out, or...
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I never push it. Because you can never tell for sure, and even if you could have your suspicions, but even if you're right, but they aren't aware of it. So I mean, I thought you were cool. I wanted to hang out with you, and I would have been fine just as friends. But yeah, I thought that in between some of the things that you would say and do, I kind of cut almost maybe a subconscious sort of like, no, it's okay. And so I would just do little things, and then just to see how you would react, something that could be easily interpreted as just, oh, that was just a friend thing. But then you never actually, freaked out and said, stay the hell away from me. So...
Well, you didn't do anything that overtly. I needed to escape you anyway, but...
Well, that's true. I try to be a gentleman.
Yeah, you were. You were very much a gentleman. So yeah, so we watched the movie, and then I think I drove you back to your house.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Uh-huh.
And that's when you made your bold move. That's when you were like, what would you say if I kissed you? And thank God, from the theater to your house was a very short drive. Because I didn't have too long to think about it. And so I pulled in your driveway, and then you were about
When did I say that? Did I say it at the theater or at home?
You said that, like, in the car.
In the car, okay.
Yeah. You had made some reference to something that happened in the movie. It was very clever the way you came up with that. But yeah, it was out there on the table. It was like, I don't know.
I'm not good at playing games and playing la 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 la. What? Yes, no for a long time. I eventually was like, just tell me.
Yeah. So probably, and I was basically silent in the car, or you were talking and I was completely in my own world. I don't know. But we got to your driveway and you were about to get out. It was like the goodnight kiss time. So I was like, I
Right.
have to make a decision here. And that's when I reached across the car and kissed you. And then I was like, oh shit, yeah, okay. That's what all this is about. That's why everybody thinks about this all the time. Yeah, and so my coming out was pretty much like in that moment in your driveway, just from that one kiss that you kind of put out there. Now I'm sure at some point in the future I probably would have figured it the hell out.
You would
But yeah, I mean it was quick, it was easy. It was that, and that closet kind of burned down from that moment there. I think it was like not even 2 weeks later that I took you to the office. I introduced you to all my friends.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
right.
oh yeah, this is a guy I'm dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't take too long.
No, it didn't take long at all. And then there was one other kind of funny situation, because I was a good Catholic boy, so there would be nothing below the belt
Right.
until there was
Of
a
course
ring
not.
on the finger. Yeah.
Never. Right.
And we were making out on the couch one night, and you said, "Are you sure you've never done this before? Because you're a little too good at it."
I remember saying that.
You remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
Remember
And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I am gay. It's good. It'll be fine. This will all work out." And shortly thereafter, I had to move to Atlanta, and I didn't know a damn thing about Atlanta. And you're like, "Oh, it's a big gay city. You'll be fine." You're like, "You'll find somebody, and it'll all work out." And so here I am, 40-some years old, and still looking. But that's all good. It's all part of the game, right?
It's part of the game. That's
So
how it goes.
yeah, so that was the big coming out story. No drama, no tears. Yeah, no getting beat up anywhere.
Yeah. It's big because it was so little.
Yeah, it's big because it was so little. I mean, because lots of things were happening
Mm-hmm.
at our university at the time. There you have it. That was my story. And while retelling it now, it may seem like I had a light bulb moment and then everything kind of fell into place. It wasn't quite that easy. Growing up, I always knew that I was different, but I had no frame of reference. I didn't have even the vocabulary to know. Meeting Paul and having that experience kind of was the last piece of the puzzle. And when that fell into place, life got a whole lot easier. Things started making a lot more sense. And that's why I wanted to tell my story. I think a lot of times when we grow up in a city, in a safe space, um, surrounded by gay culture, we often forget how difficult it is to come out. I mean, we have to come out to ourselves, then we have to come out to family and friends, and then, we're coming out pretty much for the rest of our lives. People have all kinds of different reactions to that. Some are surprised, some always knew, some had suspicions, but every reaction is different, and sometimes it's a little bit scary, no matter how many times you've come out. I think that's why it's important that we tell our stories. We let people know, no matter, some of us are very confident and have no problem coming out. Some of us are very timid and don't care to come out. Um, Everybody has their own personal preference. There's no right or wrong way to come out. Um, Hopefully it's something that if you are gay or lesbian, bisexual, transgendered, hopefully life gives you that opportunity to become who you are, because life becomes a whole lot more exciting and a whole lot easier when you can really be who you are and you don't have to hide in the shadows anymore. So thanks for watching. I hope this at least brought a little bit of something to someone, and we'll see you again soon. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing more videos in the last half of the year. Check out my blog, itstimetobe.com. The links are in the description below, and feel free to Twitter and Facebook and social media and all that kind of great stuff. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks to Paul for being part of all this. I had a great time making it, and we'll see you all soon.